Good evening. Welcome to the June 27th Planning Board meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxboro Cable Access. There may or may not be people who come in by Zoom this evening. So that's all the announcement I have to make for the moment. And any old business, department update?
Yes, Catherine.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent. So yes, this is my third week here at Foxboro, so I'm not going to claim to know everything yet. But so far, so good. We've had a lot of progress towards some pretty big goals that we have ahead of us. First and foremost, a project that you all have been working on for some time, and I just stepped in for the end piece, was the Walnut Street housing project, the senior housing on Walnut Street. That broke ground on June 24th. A lot of you folks were in attendance, and I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun to hear about the history of that project. MBTA communities, I've begun reviewing the resources. Obviously, it's a large task. It's going to take me some time to get familiar with the finer details. I've already reached out to EOHLC to better understand the state requirements that fall to us, and you'll be hearing a lot more from me on that. I'll be opening it up to residents to pursue different models and see what works best for the community. A master plan. I've circulated a draft of the RFP up to Paige Duncan. She's going to give it a quick once-over to make sure it hits everything that she needs before it goes down to procurement. But hopefully we'll be able to get some consulting assistance on a master plan started this autumn. We have a beta site that just launched this week for Permitize. So it's been a very busy couple of weeks. Permitize is going to be an online application project. It helps us on our end because we will have real-time access to every single document that's submitted. It'll help residents because it'll, give them a laundry list of what we need to see. They can do it anytime from their homes. So hopefully it'll be a win-win for everybody, but we all know that there are growing pains associated with that.
So does that mean it's going to kill the old style of submitting in person or hard copies?
I think that we'll probably accept them in person too, at least in the interim, but.
Well, we have to receive applications and plans, hard copies of them to file with the town clerk's office.
Okay.
But the bulk of the items for the applications will be online. yeah.
Okay.
Right. A couple items under economic development. I've already been able to participate in two local committees, the EDC here, as well as the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative. So I'm starting to know the players and the businesses that are involved in those groups. I've also reached out to my peers in Rentham and Plainville regarding the tourism grant that the town is sharing with them. And we have something on the schedule for 2 weeks from now to meet together and discuss how to chart the path forward on that. And then I listed some opportunities. These are things for development in the near to long term. Obviously, the 131 Morse Street project, we do have a phase 1 environmental assessment on that. It came back and surprise, surprise, it needs further assessment, and it's acknowledged to be a pretty dirty site, so we'll figure out if that's going to be something that can be developed into the future. Schneider Electric, I've met with a representative there, walked around both the old and the new campus, and learned a little bit more, not much more than what you've learned. They're still holding off on any kind of sale until after they do the demolition of the post-war segment of the old campus. But that will be a tremendous opportunity at some point in the near future. The Guillette Stadium area, I've already been around there. I've discussed some of the craft group's priorities and some ongoing projects and things that'll probably be coming up to us at some point in time, just some new retail and potentially an expansion. So we'll figure out what that is when I actually see it. And finally, the State Hospital Auditorium project, I've taken that over. It's going to be a long process, so that one's going to be slow going. That's it.
Thank you. So there's an action item on here, a request for a minor modification landscaping plan for 40 School Street, 21 Market Street. Can you talk to it?
Mr. Schofield is here for that.
Hello, Sam, how are you? Good, how are you? Nice to see you.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Thank you. How are you?
So before you get into the nitty-gritty, I'm just going to ask a question, which is, what prompted this concept?
One of the neighbors had brought to attention, we had put in, our landscape, I put in some arborvitaes that were a little small.
No, I meant,
Yeah.
what made you want to make the change to the original landscaping?
Oh, a lot of this is really deemed by site conditions that were going on with underground utilities and other things. I tried to call out some of them on these plans. Actually, I missed one, was the fire connection, the FDC, access to gas meters, where gas lines actually were, underground drainage, all that kind of stuff was really, the site's so tight. Everywhere we went to dig a hole, there was something there. So that kind of prompted us. A lot of the Judy side of the building really hasn't changed. That's essentially was, except when we get to the corner where we were talking about those arborvitaes, where we're on top of the gas line. So originally, that's why my landscaper had put those ones in there. We'd already made a stink about it, saying those are way too small. And then a neighbor had made a comment about it, so we were already on it. That's why we addressed it. We walked the site with Gabby and later on with the neighbor, reviewing what we were gonna do, some of the changes we were gonna make. Because we had done some interim stuff up Rock Hill, just in the initial, before our full planting,
Right.
So that's kind of what
Those are
was happening.
basically temporary, the ones that are in the...
Yeah, just to get some little curb appeal there, because we weren't sure when we were, if we were gonna stop marking them, and just trying to get something in to make it look that we had curb appeal, once we got all the sidewalks done. So right now, the landscaper's plan is to come back just after the 4th of July, the following week, that week of the 7/8, and complete all the plans that are shown on here, and we'll wrap up that stuff. We'll take out down that temporary fence that's on the town's lot there, and clean that up, and we'll be, then hopefully, within a few weeks after that, we'll be going for occupancy.
Okay, 5 foot.
And one of the other additional changes, we did add a patio area that was to the right of the garages.
Yes.
Then we pose a bench there with some of those pots that Gabby was nice enough to show us the ones that are in downtown on the Common, in the uptown area. I've already reached out to the vendor. I have a quote with them that we'll order those, and we'll use those ones everywhere. We'll use all the same ones, so all be uniform look for the uptown area. The bench is actually already in our garage, waiting to go out.
So the original, the original plantings, that were gonna be taller, and there were gonna be some more deciduous trees around that seem to be on the plan now, are they pretty much gone strictly because of this inability to plant as deep as you need to for?
Yeah, to get adequate, make sure that they survive the viability of the plants. And also, like on the Rock Hill side, we're gonna adjust them so we have all those windows that are kind of nice. That's why I included some of the photos on the last page, just so you can get a sense of what it looks up the Rock Hill when you see our garage windows, and we have that intake vent that you can see there. So that's what I'm saying. There's stuff all along this building that you don't anticipate till you're into construction. So that's actually for the CO detection system that brings in fresh air. So all the hues and stuff, we're gonna put them kind of in between all those areas, so the hedges are in the blank spots. It'll block that foundation down closer to the intersection and around that retaining wall that's looping there at the bottom of the picture, or the top photo to the right. And then if you look up at that same photo uphill, that wall up there will be all blocked by the hues, the hedges will be in there. Then we have the golden mops are already there on the ground. Then we'll put hostas, but we're gonna move those to the front, and those will grow up nice and give them a little color there.
So those 4 windows that are there next to the, leading up to the vent, are they all in the garage level, right?
Yeah, the square ones are all the garage level.
Okay.
And that's where the patio
And then you see them up the other backside on Lawn Judy's, there's a lot of them up there.
Were those windows on the original plan?
Something? I think they were. Pretty sure.
And did they put them there just for a curb appeal, or?
Well, I think it must have been on there, because we wouldn't have just added them.
No, I know that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, do you think that the architect put them on there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's for a
They're not
curb appeal.
really- They don't have an open and close function?
No. Well, originally, we were thinking of using it try to use it with a CO2 detection system, but it was just so complicated trying to wire all those different windows with remotes on them. So that's why we ended up going with the two louvers,
Right.
power louvers. And there's well, you can't see the phone on the Judy side, way in the back, there's a fan blowing out. So those two near Market Street suck the fresh air in through. And those are the stupid little arborvitaes he put in. Even I.
And so they're going to increase the size of the?
Yeah, he's gonna definitely increase, because you
Green
see the,
giants, there's going to.
yeah, we're gonna try to go as big. I called it 5 to 6, we're gonna see how deep he can get in there, you know. He just saw the gas line off the bat, and he panicked and went smaller with it.
Right.
You know. And like I said, we already got onto him about that one.
You know, I don't think you're going to hear, well, I don't know what you're going to hear this evening from neighborhood comments, but my guess is that probably less about the Rock Hill Street side and more about the Market Street side and how that affects the neighbors who are living across the street or in vicinity. So, anybody else have any questions or comments from the board at the moment?
Abbie, you walked, right? Walked it.
Yeah, and I think that the side, what we're talking about, the side to Judy's building, that needs to be dressed up significantly, and, you know, they're proposing some of that. I think that that's something that the neighborhood sees a
Yes.
lot, is that side, not just like the Market Street, the front.
Right.
But that side is very important to have, you know, add greenery. In the plan that's submitted, the size of the arborvitaes along that line is not called for, so I think we need to have,
Oh, yeah, because I put 2 arborvitaes in between the Judy's. Yeah, I didn't put anything in size on that, but I
Yeah,
can. We can
yeah.
definitely make those the same.
Height?
Yeah, the 5 to 6 right there. We don't have so much restriction right there. The only one is, Judy's does have their sewer line coming down that side of their building. That comes down, out there, comes down and turns in front of their garage. So we'll just be wary of that. We'll try to keep clearances on that work good. So we might have to stagger them a little bit. But yeah, the 5 to 6 thing is not a problem.
and Sam, the dogwood, the 6 to 8 by the parking lot, that's not going to affect the snow storage, right? Because that's a designated snow storage area.
Yeah, on that one, I think what we were looking at, I think we can get it back enough that we'll be okay,
Okay.
and not affecting it. And if I had to, I could always shift it a little bit to the building. So I'll work with the landscaper to see where you can get that, and the most opportune thing to make sure, because he's the one that plows it too, so. But this parking lot really is a removed parking lot. There's not, we really don't snow bank in there because there's no room. You know, so it really is a removal kind of setting going on there.
So, on the same area there, the same plane as that Coosa Dogwood, what is that little square there with a T in it?
Transformer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so what's not shown in there is, you have all the bollards and everything around that transformer sitting there.
Right.
And we need to have the front access for them to access it, I think it's
Yeah.
3 feet or so. So what I was trying to do is, what I was telling the landscape is that if you're down on the Judy's, when you go back to that photograph looking up there, you can see the hill. At the base of the hill, that's where it's kind of showing those first couple of arborvitaes, that would kind of block that part of the alleyway. Then I was proposing some more on the top of that slope up there. So then you really won't see the alleyway going all the way out to the common area. It'll kind of shield all that from that angle. Because that's kind of an ugly, when you're out there, it's really an eyesore.
No, it is a nice word.
So are those other 2 dogwoods still part of the plan?
Yeah.
They're staying?
Yeah, those are the same, yeah. The ones along the side there.
You satisfied with that, Gabby?
I'm not the person to satisfy.
No, I'm
think we
asking
need-
your opinion.
I think that we need to hear from the neighbors. Ms. Shea is here. She is right across the street from the project. And I think they're the people that are most affected.
Oh, I agree, but then I want to hear your opinion. You you did the site walk. Okay.
Anything else for anybody on the board?
Nope.
So if anyone in the audience wants to address any of these items, please feel free to just go to the microphone, state your name and address, and we'll hear what you have to say.
Hi, I'm Linda Shea. I live at 20 Market Street, so I'm diagonally across from the building. I was the one who called and was a little concerned about the few arborvitae that got placed there because they really didn't look like anything from the plan. And so I happened to have Sam's business card from the beginning, and I emailed him, and he immediately responded, and I know I talked to Abbie. And Sam was there another day. I missed that meeting. I never looked at my email. They actually had invited me the day that they met with the landscaper on site, but I never saw my email. So I saw Abbie when she was leaving. And then the next day or the day after, Sam was on site. So I ran over and introduced myself. And he actually walked me around and showed me what the changes would be. And we just want as much as can go there to look nice. I don't have an issue with how many but I would like some taller ones. I think the little, on the Rock Hill side, those little hostas, they're kind of little. And yes, they'll grow, but there's nothing with height. But Sam did show me how they're going to bring those forward and put U's in the back to cover the concrete foundation, which would definitely look better. So I just wanted something to be there. I felt like what was there is not what was approved. And so I was concerned about that. And I've done that before, and I wasn't going to let that happen again. I wanted to at least talk about it and make sure that we get as close to that original approved plan as possible.
Okay.
So that's all.
And do you feel more satisfied based on what Sam showed you?
Yes, and I'm glad dogwoods, he didn't mention that, on the site, so a couple of dogwoods are great, and just as much as possible on that side. I just think it would look so much better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Is there anyone else in the audience that has any concerns or comments they'd like to make about this? Any point of view from any other board members?
Abbie, what's your opinion?
I think this is much better than what is there now. I just want to make sure that the arborvitae's right by Market Street at the corner of the building, that they can be as big as they can be installed with the gas line, but no less than 5 feet in height.
Absolutely.
So you can try to see if you can do taller
Yeah,
taller
absolutely.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, we have no problem with that. Yeah, it was bad too, because we hadn't landscaped up the Judy side too, so that was like,
Right.
when you put those 3 ones and you see nothing else out there, everybody's like, whoa, what are you guys doing?
There's their plan.
Yes, it looked like zero scape.
Yeah, it looked like Xeriscape, exactly.
Well, and even on the other side, because of the stone.
The stone, yeah.
So,
And because this building is going to, be owned by the King Builders, then, we can make sure that the plantings are maintained.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel comfortable, if they do plant what is here, I feel comfortable that they're going to be maintained, so they're not going to allow the arborvitae to die, and then, it being just a blank space there.
right. And when do you guys think you're going to start to do occupancy there?
We're presently waiting on the elevator company.
Okay.
They're coming back on the 8th to hopefully do their final thing, then we'll line up for the state inspection.
So you got the switchgear?
We did finally get the switch gear. That's what really stalled us out.
Doug told me.
Oh, yeah, over 18 months, we were waiting for that gear on 2 projects that just completely stalled us. Once we had it, we really started ramping. The electricians are just doing their final touches in the common hallway area. All the units are done, we're ready. Everything's pretty much carpeted. They're putting the last pieces in, 1 stairwell, so it really looks good in there. We'll come along. So we're hoping by mid-July that we'll be there, as long as the state comes and gets the inspection for the elevator.
And then you'll start to market it.
Yeah, we already had the sheets all ready to go, and
Yeah.
we've been doing some soft stuff. Now, once we get, probably after the 4th, we'll start doing some soft marketing on it.
Great. So, do I hear a motion to approve the modifications?
Yeah. Move we approve the request for minor modifications on the landscaping plan for 40 School Street and 2 Market Street,
21.
as submitted. Is it 21? Oh, 21?
Yeah, it is
Sorry,
21.
Linda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Linda.
It being sometime past 7:05, we have a continued site plan review for 8 Springbrook Road, the proposal to install a solar array above the parking lot of an existing office warehouse building by NextGrid. Is that Mr. Buckley?
The applicant is on Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Good evening, members
Hold
of the
on
board.
one-
My name is Nathan Collins.
One
I am
second.
Director of
One
Engineering
second.
for NextGrid.
We can't
Oh,
hear you.
sorry.
Hold on one second. Could you turn up the speakers? We can't hear him well. Please. Try talking again.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
That much better.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, members of the board. For the record, my name is Nathan Collins. I'm Director of Engineering with NextGrid, Inc. Before you tonight for a site plan review for a proposed photovoltaic system at 8 Springbrook Road. I'm happy to share my screen to go over some plans, if that's possible.
Yes.
So, can you see this?
We can, yes.
So the proposed project actually consists of 2 systems. There's a rooftop system on the existing roof of the warehouse. Currently, it's occupied by Tree Tech, a commercial tree company. And the reason for coming before you tonight was related to the carport that we're proposing in the rear of the property that will cover a portion of their gravel parking area and access drive. The canopy as proposed currently meets all dimensional requirements within the light limited industrial district, both for rear, side, and obviously we're not modifying the front yard setback. We did provide some renderings of what the carport will look like. They were part of the submission. The carport as proposed will be, the low point will be at approximately the height of the building, 21 feet, and with a 5% gradient, the backside will be 26 feet. It's set at this height for a couple different reasons. One, to avoid shading from the building, and also to accommodate some of the larger vehicles that Tree Tech intends to park back there. Some of their boom trucks that they use to get larger trees. But again, we're meeting all the setback requirements for rear yard. This is 50-yard setback. We're approximately 74 feet to the pinch point at this corner. The side yard setback, which I believe in this district is 25 feet, we're at approximately 60 and change on this northernmost corner. We are not proposing any modifications to stormwater. These carports, as designed, are they're open. There's no decking underneath, so water will continue to flow through the gaps between the panels. It does provide a slight protection to rain, but it'll still drip down vertically. That's really all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions that members of the board may have, and I can certainly leave this plan up.
I have a question. These are translucent type of panel, almost translucent?
They'll have a metal frame. The panels themselves they're kind of darker in color. So although you'll get lights through the gap, the panels are designed to absorb any light. So they're not completely see-through. It'd probably be similar to looking through a tinted window, if that makes sense.
So it's not as dark as a traditional solar panel that most people are used to seeing?
No, the panels you see on like residential rooftops, is that what you're referring to, that are all black?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, these are slightly different. Commercial panels still have a aluminum frame, and the panels, you know, the cells themselves will be a little darker.
Do these still have the glare possibility like that a black panel would have?
They do not. So all of our projects require, regardless of its location, require FAA approval. We have to provide them a glare study, which we've already had approved for this project.
Thank you.
So there were some minor comments here from Chief Grace, no problems with the police department. From Scott Shippey, the building commissioner zoning enforcement officer, I've reviewed the application at this time, do not have any issues with the proposal, as it does meet the zoning setback requirement. From from Matt Brennan at the health department, has no objections to the project. I believe that's it from other boards.
Anything with fire?
And I don't see anything in it from the fire department.
Another question, why didn't you choose to go over the roof of the existing building as well?
I'm not sure your question, sir.
Why are you not putting panels above the existing roof of that building?
We are, sir. It's might be hard to see in this plan, but this project includes rooftop panels as well as the carport.
Oh, yeah, I do see it in another, okay, thank you, yep.
Yeah, the rooftops by right, so
Okay.
doesn't necessarily require site plan review.
Right, the project in front of you is only the carport portion because the rooftops are allowed by right.
I have no concerns or questions. Make a motion to approve,
We need
close.
to take comments if
Yeah,
necessary.
we do. Is there anybody here on this particular project? Is there any comments or questions?
Do you want me to close the hearing?
Yes, please.
Make a motion to close the site plan review at 8 Springbrook Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the site plan for solar array above the parking area of an existing office and warehouse building at 8 Springbrook Road
With the standard conditions.
with the standard conditions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Appreciate your.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. It being sometime past 7:20 PM.
7:10.
7:10, I'm sorry, rather. We have a special permit definitive subdivision for 357 South Street, construction of a proposed four-lot subdivision. Cindy McKay.
Do we have minutes to approve?
Yes, we do. I had the minutes of May 23rd, because I had sent them out late the last meeting, and of course I did the same thing today with June 13th. So,
Jeff, how are you feeling about approving May 23rd and/or June 13th minutes?
I'm all set. I've read them all.
Okay, I make a motion to approve. Do I have to do them separate? Together?
you can,
Do them together. I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 23rd, 2024, as well as June 13th, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bill Buckley from Bay Colony Group. Excuse me. And I'm here representing the applicant, Cindy McKay, who's also here this evening. And Frank Spillane is the attorney for the project. So what we're here before the board this evening is we've filed a subdivision plan under the town's open space residential development bylaw. It is a 11.9 acre parcel of land located at 357 South Street. And I'm going to put up here, if you give me a moment, I'm going to share my screen. And actually, I don't want to share that. Let me share one other one. There we go. This is better. So this is 357 South Street. Let me just orient you. I thought the area would be a better take. So this is South Street. If you follow my hand here. This is Paula Lane going off to the south. This is West Street coming off here. Through the back here, what you can see, this is the Cocasset River kind of going through the back. This is Cocasset River Park, for those of us old enough to remember that stuff. So the red is the property, the current property, the 357 South Street, and the green is actually land that is owned by the town, either owned by the Conservation Commission or owned by the Water Department, because over here to the northeast, off my screen, is the town well site off Sprague Road. So I think this gives everybody a good idea of the property, formerly known as Sunlight Farms. I think most people remember it with the trees being out front there at the Christmas time. So let me move to the next. Okay. So as I stated, this is a 12-acre parcel of land. It's located just to the west of Paula Lane, as you saw. It's in the R40 zoning district, but it's also in the Water Resource Protection Overlay District Zone 2. Again, because of the proximity to our wells. It's also, a portion of it also lies within 250 feet of the Cocasset River, and that also puts it into what's called the primary resource area under the town's bylaws. So what that typically means is, what's allowed here is single-family houses, and under a conventional subdivision, the lots would have to be 60,000 square feet, and they would have to have 200 feet of frontage on either an existing roadway or a roadway permitted under the subdivision control bylaw. This lot has about 352 feet of frontage along South Street. It's about you can see what kind of an odd shape it is, but it's approximately 1,000 feet deep if you go into the middle here. Down in this corner, which is sheet 3 on the plan set, if you have it in front of you, this is the McKay homestead. So the existing farm/home is there. There are several outbuildings as there as well. The site also is partially in a FEMA flood zone along the Cocasset River along the back here. I'm just pointing all these things out to give you some idea of, the constraints you have on this type of property. And I know it's hard to see on looking up here at the board, but maybe if you look at your sheet, you can see the colors here. So we have a 200-foot riverfront. We have a 150-foot setback from a boarding vegetated wetland. That's for septic systems. We have 100-foot buffer zones. We have 25-foot no disturb zones. And the reason I'm showing these things to you in this plan you're looking at, we've done this preliminary plan that gives you an idea of how many lots we could get under a conventional subdivision. So what we're showing is about, it's about 578 feet of roadway. This drawing you're looking at has a 20-foot road, which is what is required in Foxborough for this number of lots. Has a sidewalk on one side, which is what is required under the subdivision control bylaw, and it has a 50-foot cul-de-sac. again, which is required under the subdivision control bylaw. And then we're showing you this to show that we could do a 3-lot subdivision on here in compliance with the local regulations, setback, Board of Health, subdivision control regs. So we don't want to build this. This is not our intent. We're just showing you this because under this open space residential development bylaw, we have to show you a preliminary plan that shows what could possibly be built here under the conventional subdivision. So what I'd like to do is go now to the next drawing, which is sheet 3. If you go back into your plan set.
I think it's sheet 2.
Sheet 2, I'm sorry, I was sheet 3. So what we want to do is a cluster subdivision. And we only want to do 2 buildable lots. So that would be, on this plan, these would be the lots shown along Route South Street. So Lot 1 is down here on the right, as my hand is showing you, and it's about a 52,000 square foot lot. Minimum lot size in the Zone 2 for a cluster is 30,000, so we're well over the 30,000 minimum. So the intent there is to create a lot that if somebody purchased it, chose to, they would be able to buy the whole homestead. It contains the existing house and the existing outbuildings on a lot, as you can see. And then the lot would be creating to the left, which we're showing as Lot 2, and we're just showing, again, a lot that is I show the house, I show the septic, and the reason I do that is because it's in the regulations, but also you can see that it's outside the buffer zones, it's outside the 150-foot setback for a septic. So it would be conforming under the local regulations, both the subdivision control and in this particular case, Board of Health. And it's also highly unlikely that we would even be filing with the Conservation Commission because the house would have to be pretty far back in order to breach that 100-foot buffer zone. So those would be what we would call the 2 buildable lots. They have the requirement is a 50 feet of frontage along the street. We have well over that. I think it's 150 plus and 170 plus for the 2 lots. So these lots, anywhere else except for the frontage, would be conforming in an R40 zone, much bigger than what you see, for example, down in London Estates. That's R15. Those are 100-foot frontage and 15,000 square foot. So these are good-sized lots. I think they definitely fit in with character with the neighborhood in this area. Now, the lots in the back, let me talk about parcel A, which is this one on the upper right corner. Parcel A is, I have it labeled as open space. That's 6.2 acres. It's about 52% of the existing lot area of the McKay homestead, and that complies with the regulation for an open space lot that has to remain open space in perpetuity. 45% is the town regulation. So we're at 52% and over that. And in a minute, I want to show you how that kind of fits in. Actually, let me do it right now.
So what's parcel B, Bill?
Okay, let me go to that. I'll go right to that then. So parcel B is a parcel, and you see I labeled it a parcel. We're not asking for that to be a lot. This is not a lot buildable that we're asking for, because this would be a piece of property that Ms. McKay wants to retain for herself. She lives down here, where my hand is, in this lower left corner. So that is for her retainage. She'll be retaining that in order to provide privacy for herself. But again, it's not a buildable lot. We're asking for 2 lots to be conforming under this OSRD special permit. So that lot is to be conveyed, or actually to be retained by Cindy because she owns the land now. But let me go to another plan that I want to show. I know this is kind of a, let me zoom out so you can see it anyways. This is the town's open space map, put together by Conservation. And I'm showing it to you so you can kind of get a feel for what we're seeing here. Down here in this corner, this is the McKay parcel.
Right.
And let me zoom in now that I've showed you that. So this, what I'm showing you here, this heavy red piece, this is the open space piece that we're proposing to convey to the Conservation Commission. And I should mention that I met with the Conservation Commission a week and a half ago, and we presented this to them informally because there's really no role, no official role for them in this process other than to give you their opinions. And we went in there, we wanted to show it to them, and we wanted to get their input on it, and we also wanted to make sure that they would be amenable to accepting the parcel as part of the town's open space. So I hate to speak for them, but Diana was taking the minutes, so you can ask her. It was a very positive meeting. I think they all were interested, and they thought it was a good idea. They had some thoughts about they wanted to make sure that it was monumented properly, like they like to see, and we showed them where our monuments were. And the other thing they wanted was to make sure that Mr. Spillane, when he wrote up the deed, talked to Mr. Thomas, their agent, on the wording that went into it, because they're as interested as Ms. McKay is in maintaining that property in perpetuity as open space, conservation land. So I wanted to show you this so you can see how it fits into other open space owned by the town. So the heavy green is conservation land. And if you remember, Kevin will be the only remember, but this is White's Farm Lane over here off of West Street. That was also a cluster subdivision, and all this green around the outside was conveyed to the Conservation Commission as part of that. The rest of the land is what I was showing you earlier. It went with Cocassa River Park. I don't know how that came about, but this is where the old Cocassa swimming hole was, and there's access off of West Street through here, and then down here off of South Street, there's access as well. I don't know if anybody notices, but when you drive down there, next time you look, you'll see this kind of piece of woods that's maybe 100 feet wide, and there's a broken down gate and chain link fence here. That is the back road to Cocassa River Park. It was actually built by the Corps of Engineers back in the 70s. So the heavy blue is a water department land, and that's land that was purchased by the water department in order to protect the well site over on Sprague Road, which is right here. This is Sprague, and the well sites are in this area here. So what I'm showing you is, in our opinion, I think this is a good piece of property for the town to acquire. It fits in with all of the larger land around it. I forget how many acres it is that it's contiguous to. But if I zoomed out, you could see that this goes up into the state forest. You know, it fits with it. So it's not an orphan that that if I was sitting on your shoes, I wouldn't be interested. But I think this is a good parcel that fits in with the other open space of the town. If you're looking at this too, you might say, what is this? This is a mistake on the town map. This is actually the piece that Cindy be retaining. It's not town open space. Maybe Jane was hoping it would be someday. So that's where we're at. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions from the board?
Not at this time, just one. Were the thoughts at Conservation that there would be, I don't know what's out there, I assume we're not backing right up into the open field area of Cocassa, so it would be all contiguous wooded. I don't know if there are trails out there, it looks kind of wet. Was there thought that it would be actively used or just kind of dormant in perpetuity?
Cindy says that it's pretty active. People like to walk down the river. So it is being used. They do have people going back there. If you remember, Cocassa River Park was used as a dog park, the official dog park, before it was closed down. So I think they do. There are trails back there that lead from behind Cindy's house back there. But that would be the land that she would be retaining for herself. But there used to be like a dirt track up here. But I don't know who would go back there, kids would. But as you saw in the aerial, which I just showed you, it looks like it's mostly overgrown right now.
Okay. Anybody in the audience who has questions or comments regarding this proposal? Hearing none.
I'm going to close.
No, good.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for the special permit definitive subdivision at 357 South Street, construction of a proposed, should that say two-lot? Two-lot subdivision, Cindy L. McKay.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So I took the liberty of drafting some conditions of approval in case the board wanted to take a look at them and possibly vote. So I'll pass these down. There is a suggested change by Catherine to condition number 10 about the adding a deed restriction prohibiting further development to be recorded for parcel B.
The 10?
Parcel B or parcel A?
Parcel B. Because, yeah, parcel B.
It's going to be on
That's,
file.
well, that's what's being represented.
Yeah. Any issues with that?
No,
Bill or Frank, any issues with that?
So,
Any issues with her proposed change?
the request, no with that. But some of the conditions really aren't applicable
Right.
because there's no roadway going in. So I don't know if we need all those in there.
you mean all of number 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of saying.
Gabby and Catherine, what do you think?
Do you need that extra thing, Catherine? Because in 3, it says A and B are considered or not considered and shall remain undeveloped.
I think that's to beef it up,
Okay.
so.
So are you saying we should keep 2?
No,
oh,
we're
I thought you
talking
were
about
talking
3.
about-
Yeah, I was talking about 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin was asking
I
about 3.
interrupted.
3 would just be something that goes with the property in
Yeah.
perpetuity, so that, if these minutes get lost
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, it remains with the registry of deeds.
So what do you suggest for us for number 2?
There's no street, so wouldn't it be struck?
Right.
That's what you were thinking, Frank, right?
Well, I think we need to mention about entering the covenant and then
Right.
something about the lot releases, the release of the one lot.
I mean, I'm not even sure we need lot releases per se because there's no roadway going in, but it is a subdivision. So I do want to think about that just a little bit.
Do you want us to vote
I mean,
tonight? or do you want-
technically, we would meet this immediately because there's no work to be done.
Right.
So a lot release should be given right away, if necessary. And, any bond that puts up is zero because there's nothing being constructed, so there's nothing to really be done at that point. There's no construction inspection fee requirements. Approving the limited clearing for the construction of the roadway, there's no roadway there. The biggest thing is, this is a subdivision, so I think we still probably should get the Form K lot releases, just to be on the safe side. And then the most important thing after that is really conveying the backland to conservation, which, once the appeal period is up, the two lots, and it's recorded, the two lots then can be sold. And I think we would want to get the land to the town as soon as possible. And I'll be working with the conservation agent in working that deed up, because both Conservation Commission and Cindy McKay, doesn't want any development on it, want to keep it very passive. But we also wanted to look into what the parcels around it have restrictions on. So we'll find with that.
Wouldn't,
I
we
think just
want to
working
do
with-
a covenant to limit the parcel to be a single-family home? Usually that's one of the parts of the covenant that we do.
Yeah. I think Gabby and I could probably work through condition 2 in order to get the lot releases appropriately, and to make sure that conservation is deeded that property in a timely fashion. Because typically, we don't want to deed the property to conservation really until the road is accepted by the town, in case there are any issues.
Right.
But again, there are none of those issues here.
So Gabby,
And,
do you want us to vote, or do you want us to wait till you guys work out the wording?
However the board feels comfortable.
I think, honestly, I think the applicant can feel comfortable that there's a general sense of support for this project. I think I'd feel a little more comfortable if you could work that out, and then we could just take a vote.
It won't be a problem.
Okay.
I
agree.
just saw these 5 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
no, I'm glad you brought it up.
I mean, technically, we meet all the requirements for lot releases, so maybe we don't even need them. I think for conveyancing purposes, we may need it. So I just want to double check that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
So
agree
we'll-
with Jeff. I mean,
we'll-
we're in
We'll vote
support.
on this at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we want to continue the public hearing.
Right.
No, because we can
Close
just
the-
vote.
Close the public hearing already.
Close the public hearing.
Did I close
So
it?
you just vote on a draft decision.
No, we'll just
No.
vote to close. Which I just did, right?
Yeah, the
So we're
public
done.
hearing is closed already, so we will vote,
Yep.
at the next meeting, we will vote on this project.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank
you.
you.
Yes. It's sometime past 7:20 PM. We have a public hearing, a definitive subdivision for Abbie Lane, construction of a proposed 6-lot subdivision by Joseph Lombardi. If you'll excuse me for just 1 second, I just want to get a drink. No, you can sit. I'm just going to get a drink.
See, he's cold too. Are you freezing us?
I was hot when the sun was shining on me, but now I'm cold again.
Turn the heat on for you.
You don't have to turn the heat on. We could just make it a
Just
little
turn
bit
it-
warmer.
Turn the temperature up.
Yeah, our guests are cold too.
Yeah, I attribute it to being older, so.
Me too.
That's why all those people in Florida get cold when it hits 65 degrees, right?
Yep, you got that right.
Do you want my water? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Whenever you'd like to start.
All righty. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Scott Rolfe. I'm a senior project manager with OHI Engineering. Our offices are at 44 Wood Avenue in Mansfield. And I'm here tonight representing Joe Lombardi, who is sitting to my right.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
And before I start, I want to just say something. This is my 52nd year in the business. I think it's the first time I've ever had an opportunity to come to Foxborough. I've worked all around you, but I've never come here before.
We're glad you're here.
And, of course, Gabby's not going to be here to hear this, but not being familiar with your town, aside from taking part in a lot of things in it, I just want to say it was very nice to deal with Gabby, to help an old guy through the regulations and the process here. So it was wonderful working with her. I know that we have not received any comments from Weston and Sampson, nor have we received DPW comments to any extent. So I'm going to give you an overview of the subdivision tonight. I do have some comments that I can address, but I don't think we need to get into like very, extensive detail, more than what I'm going to talk about here. Sure. So, the property is owned by Susan Guillette and Thomas Hunt. They are a succession to a previous trust. The applicant is Joel Lombardi, now both the owner and the applicant are both of Foxboro. Our parcel is off the end of the Abbie Lane cul-de-sac. It's lot 11 as shown on Assessors Map 112. And our lot area is 7.7 plus or minus acres. The site is wooded and of moderate grade with a high elevation of 255. Go to the topo.
Topo?
Yep. At this corner here, the highest point is 255, and it drops down to the, it would be the westerly corner to elevation 192, and that's a 63-foot differential across the property. We are zoned R40. Oh, am I not loud enough? Really? All right. Well, most people try to shut me up. Available utilities are municipal water, natural gas, electricity, telephone, cable, and as you can see in our drawing here, septic would be handled by on-site sanitary disposal systems. The NRCS soil survey lists this soil for this whole entire property as Canton fine sandy loam with an 8 to 15% slope, and our hydrological soil group is A. It's a very free draining soil. We are proposing a 6-lot subdivision. The minimum required lot size is 40,000 square feet. And of the 6 lots, our smallest one is 40,262 square feet, and our largest being this one is 57,222 square feet. We are proposing to extend the existing Abbie Lane with this roadway here, and then we're proposing Canoe Riverway as an extension off of that. And both, this plan does not show, but we do have another one that does. If you scroll down, I think it's in. Nope. Oh, sorry. I'm a rookie with this screen stuff, so I'm old school. Sorry. Well, does that go down any further? Yep. Close enough. Good. All right, so you have Windsor Drive here. This is the existing Abbie Lane. From this point here, your dead-end street links are taken from the sideline of the street that you're coming off of to the edge of the pavement, which would be at both cul-de-sacs, both the one up here for the extension of Abbie and then the one coming off for Canoe Riverway, and in both instances taken from, if you take going up Abbie one way and then going up Abbie and taking the right, both of those fall underneath the 800-foot maximum roadway length that you have. We're proposing 50-foot layouts with 22 feet of asphalt. We did submit some plans preliminarily to Abbie, and I'm sorry, Gabby, Lane's Abbie, And I can't remember, Gabby, was it DPW that you talked to about the sidewalks?
Yeah, I reviewed it with the Director of DPW and the town engineer.
We had a slightly different configuration on the sidewalks, and it was suggested to us that we change them, so we did. So we end up with sidewalks. We have sidewalks on one side of the street, and the location was coordinated. We're proposing 2 new hydrants. There's going to be one at the end of this cul-de-sac here, and there's going to be one right there. There is an existing hydrant down here at the end of Abbie Lane that's going to be relocated off to the side, just kind of 15 feet or so away. The road grades for Canoe River Way range between 1.65% and 5.61%. And on Abbie Lane from 2.69 to 6%. Again, all under your maximum road grade requirements are 6%, at or below. Stormwater for the project is collected through a catch basin, manhole, water quality structure, piping system, and it is divided up. If you would go back to the sheet C6, please. Yep. This is my Vanna White, doing a great job. We have the first basin here on Lot 2, and we have a second basin here on Lot 4. And all of the drainage from this roadway and the cul-de-sac here comes down, it goes into a water quality structure here. Oh boy, that's awful bright. And then it's directed into the stormwater basin here. On this road here, this water runs, it's a high point here, there's water running this way, there's water running this way. The cul-de-sac all goes into catch basins here, water quality structure, and then into that stormwater basin. Your regulations require that we address 2, 10, 25, and 100-year storms with our basins. These are infiltration basins, and in all 4 storms, we match or reduce the amount of runoff from them, so there's no increase in offsite runoff from either basin. They're all designed to handle the 100-year storm with no discharge, except for recharging the ground. But we do provide emergency spillways in case there was a storm of a higher magnitude. Comments we received from Scott Shippey, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Shippey.
He had mentioned that the plans do not clearly show a 1 inch equals 40 feet. They don't. If you know anything about CAD, which I don't assume you do, all the drawings that we prepare, all the different items are on layers. And we turn on layers and turn off layers for different drawings. You could take, if you turn them all on, you wouldn't be able to read what we're presenting. As it turns out, the graphic scales are on a layer that somehow got turned off before we did the prints, so we can address that. The drawings are at 1 inch equals 40 feet. We'll correct that. He also mentioned snow storage is not clearly identified. It is not. We did not address it. We will address it subsequent to this meeting. And we also know that we have more comments coming. Another question that was brought up here, are we proposing to remove the existing cul-de-sac? We are not. The existing cul-de-sac provides frontage for existing homes there. I've done these before in other municipalities. In the whole time I've been doing this, we've done one project where we were asked by the neighbors to eliminate the cul-de-sac, and when it was all done, they were sorry we did. It looks rather odd, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having the additional turnaround there. But again, it's not ours to manipulate either.
I think one of the comments from Mr. Shippey also was that we need to see plans that show the roads from the intersection with Windsor Drive, just to prove the length of roadway is less than 800 feet.
The length of roadways is on the first sheet, on the cover sheet. But we can,
We would like the illustration.
absolutely, we can do that, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm just trying to go through these, there's a lot of them.
Fire Chief, Mr. Buckley, he made a
I'm
comment.
sorry, I just found it, I found the police have no concerns at the moment. Health Department had no objections. Fire Chief asked again if they were removing the cul-de-sac, yeah, no, we're not.
Well, no, but he also had a question about the easement to loop the water line.
Oh, okay, yep, that's right. And this myriad of
That needs to be-
papers I have
that
here,
needs
it's in
to be
there, I'm
shown on the
sure.
plans.
We were made aware, Gabby had made us aware, as we were just starting out with this project, that this piece up here was being done. There was a subdivision. Matter of fact, she provided us with access to the plans that were submitted. We didn't know at the time whether or not the town was going to require that the water be looped. It usually is a good idea. It improves flow and pressure and so forth. So in preparation of the plans, we did put an easement here. If you remember from my pointing before on a different plan, there was a hydrant in this area here, so we have a water main right there. That water main can certainly be extended and be tied into one from the other property. We have no objection to that. We had shown the easement on this plan. We don't show it on others. We can certainly add it, but the reason it's on this plan is this is the one that gets recorded at the registry, and this is the one that actually creates the easement. So yes, that will be addressed.
So that's Pioneer Estates above that, Cap?
That's correct.
Yes.
He did ask the question about the removing the existing cul-de-sac, so that's made clear now.
I don't know how long it's going to take for the peer review engineer to come through with the comments. I don't know how long it usually takes here, but if we need to ask for a continuance for any reason until that comes back, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of time left.
Yeah, I because of the holiday and because of vacation schedules, I'm not sure that it's going to be done before our next meeting, so maybe the end of July would be more the time to shoot for.
I think we can't proceed without their comments anyway.
Right.
So.
Right.
Exactly.
And I wasn't going to scramble and try to change anything before I come in.
No, you might as well
Because
hear.
we wasted everyone's time.
I would agree with you.
I've been around long enough to know that, so.
Be safe enough and do it, continue to August 8th. Just to give everybody enough time.
August 8th.
Yeah, we're still early, though, we can comment.
Yeah. So, anyone in the audience here to address this, please just come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Susan Ray. I live in England Road in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. Hi, Joe. I've never met you guys, but I just have a question. You said something about an extension here into the Pine Acres thing. Is that a road or just a water pipe?
Just a water, it's an easement. May I address? Is
Yes,
it
you
okay?
may.
Okay.
Please, go ahead.
Attleboro won't let me. That's just an easement to provide access for the water loop to tie through, so that whoever has that lot will be encumbered with an easement on it.
Okay. Also, I wanted to clear up, I couldn't really hear you at first, but I think you stated that my brother Tommy was part owner in this property.
What?
He is not. There was a bogus article written by a writer of the Foxborough Reporter last week that said that Thomas is part owner of this lot, and it's not true. My lawyer wrote a letter to them saying that Thomas does not own any of this property that's proposed. They wrote back, and it's Craig Borges. He is the executor editor of the paper. He said he would put a correction in today's Reporter and the Sun Chronicle saying that they made a mistake in making the correction, which of course they did not do. So my lawyer will contact them tomorrow. But just so everybody's on the same page, because my brother Tommy, these are the neighbors and stuff that live with him, and I don't want them thinking that Tommy's throwing them under the bus and building this. He does not own this property. He has nothing to do with it. And shame on the person at the paper that wrote that article. Do your fact checking.
I'm sorry, if you look at the application has the trustees listed as Susan Guillette
Yeah,
and Thomas Hunt.
trustees. He has to be he's the co-trustee. He is not an owner, he's a trustee of the Hunt Revocable Trust, and he does not anywhere in there say that he owns any of this property. He has nothing to do with it, nothing. He is not in the Hunt Revocable Trust as an owner of that property. And I just wanted to make that clear. I mean, everybody here already knew that because I said that at the last meeting. Mr. Shippey knew it, so I don't know who reported it in the paper that he was. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience have any questions? Please come up.
Didn't see that coming.
Sean McCarthy, 4 Abbie Lane. I live in the cul-de-sac, the only house that has a driveway on the cul-de-sac. I know you're addressing a few of these issues already that you touched upon, which was the, after reading the R40 zoning, which was the snow allotment. Believe it or not, with one driveway, we've still had issues because of the volume of snow that comes out of a cul-de-sac. I'm sure you've heard it. I would like, to get in depth a little bit more on that, because if they are going to increase the roadway, I have a feeling that will be the dumping ground for the street coming, if you're heading east. Also, my well is located here roughly, there's no scale, but roughly 135 to 150 feet from the property line. My well is only 39 feet, just for the record, so you guys know. So, because you have a septic setback from that well. You're well clear of it, I just want to make sure it's documented properly. On the subdivision road length, yeah, my math must be wrong. Again, I couldn't figure out the total length, but I came up with 1,000 feet, because you have to add both, my understanding is you have to add the total street plus the tee off to that cul-de-sac. It's not just the straight line and the existing. So my understanding, I've been living there 30 years, when I purchased this lot as a raw lot, this cul-de-sac was only left, not as to be a cul-de-sac, it was only left because it needed access under the zoning for the developable land that was next to it. And I was told years ago, I've been told many times, unless things have changed, that would fill in. Now, if we want to discuss that, and there's reasons behind, we can, but I just want to make sure I'm clear on a cul-de-sac leading to a cul-de-sac and another cul-de-sac. That's a lot of snow removal, that's a lot of runoff, there's a lot of snow storage. It also comes at my neighbor's house. If you look on the straightaway, their house is at 2 Abbie Lane. It's the first one out of the circle. Okay, in the existing neighborhood. And if you look at that street comes down straight ahead, and there's a turn, but it happens in the cul-de-sac. There's no guidance there. So I would be a little concerned with the speed of someone coming through in foul weather, not knowing the neighborhood well. Again, you guys know better than I do on this stuff. And then the turnaround, where that is a straightaway coming down, it's technically now an intersection. So I want to make sure, and it's a blind intersection. It doesn't have the turn radius that you would need for a 35, 40 mile an hour pass through. So I just have those concerns, and again, there's other concerns with the neighbors, I'm sure, but I think these, we can maybe work something out. We'll figure this out. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Before you leave,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Question before you leave, John.
Yeah.
So, do you have an opinion on that cul-de-sac issue?
Well, right now it's a problem because people use it, and I understand it. There's no bathrooms anywhere near that side of town, Mansfield or anywhere. So the trash guys use it. Yeah, it's the FedEx guys use it. So that's going away.
Those types of issues.
Right. So that's going away.
Health matter.
Right. But it also may be I don't think I do, because I think it's going to be possibly a problem, and I do see it as a problem traffic-wise. So more importantly, I think what I see in your diagram, they have to dig across the lawn anyway, and my driveway, which is concrete, to feed the utilities instead of coming up with a street cut. That's what it shows on their plan. I think they're already going to mess up the street anyway, and the driveway would have to be repaired. I don't know if that's on me. So these are the things that I'm not 100% sure. I need to educate myself a little bit better on this cul-de-sac issue. To me, it doesn't look safe, from a safety standpoint. I think I've made points, but I think you guys would know that better than me from the results, of what you see.
I was just wondering if you knew whether that would take you out of compliance frontage-wise.
That's what I want to know, if my frontage stays as recognized because of the filled in, because obviously that would be town land. That they're not going to, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think that that's something that we can inquire about in keeping the layout so that Mr. McCarthy still has his frontage, but, removing
Because they
that
can't,
portion.
they can't legally create a nonconformity.
Exactly. So, I think that we've done that in the past, that we have created the layout, but then the developers only build the, straight line driveway.
Yeah.
So that's something that we can look into.
Yeah, so it's basically those issues, like I said, on the totality, because it's, I think someone needs to look at it from a safety standpoint. I definitely see vehicles or kids coming out on their bike, riding in a cul-de-sac like they would ride, and ride into a blind spot. If you were coming out of 4 Abbie Lane and coming into the street from there, you wouldn't be able to see that traffic coming.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Is it appropriate to ask this gentleman a question?
Yes, you may.
Sir, you mentioned traffic coming down from our new Abbie Lane extension. You said there's no turning radius there for it to come out into the existing cul-de-sac. I don't understand what you meant by that.
Oh, I'm saying so that if you wanted to,
Would you mind pointing?
no, rephrase your question, I'm sorry.
You had mentioned if traffic was coming down you said if they're coming down at any kind of speed, coming from the right to the left to hit the existing cul-de-sac, you said there was not proper turning radius there, and I didn't understand
Right,
what you
if
meant.
you go to the other side of the cul-de-sac, I'm sorry, if this.
Can you put
Right
this up?
here, right here. We're coming through this way.
Yep.
We're going out this way. I don't know if that radius is enough for traffic to see that car coming out and for this car to see this car coming up.
Well, that's
Or anybody.
this already, though.
Or anybody on a bike, or,
I don't know how that has a bearing on what we're doing.
I guess what I'm asking is this. I'm not going to argue with you.
No, I'm not arguing, I'm just asking.
It's an intersection. We can both debate whether that's the case. I do think it's an intersection. Because traffic is coming from different directions. That would be my definition of an intersection. But that doesn't mean I'm going to defer. I don't. Okay.
I just wanted to understand. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please come up.
My name is Richard Jia, 1 Abbie Lane. Just a few questions. From my education, I'm totally different field. Might be naive. If the project is approved, right? So how long is there stipulation in the proposal? How long the 6th lot is going to be completely finished? Construction done. I don't need to wake up like 7:30, do my kids' stuff, right? Is there stipulation in the proposal?
Are you talking about hours of operation when they're working?
Not hours, the total. I know this is going to be
The whole-
sleeping
total
hours.
the
Yeah,
whole
I get up
build.
early. Some people got up late, but I'm saying the whole 6 lot is going to be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years.
I think our goal is to finish it as quickly as possible. I can tell you that as a developer, I'm also going to move into this subdivision. So I want to be a good neighbor, and I also want to finish it as quickly as I possibly can.
Okay.
So that my kids also have a clean neighborhood to live and grow up in.
I see. Typically, it's 8 to 4 or 5 o'clock, like the work hours.
So I think the work
construction.
hours in
Yeah.
town are governed by a bylaw.
They're governed by bylaws.
Okay, okay.
What are they?
7 to
7
7,
to-
Monday through Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
I don't want
I
to
would-
speak for this gentleman, but usually a project this size usually takes a couple of years to complete.
I see. Depending on the market, I understand, right? 2, again, my previous place where I live in, the previous house, also in Foxborough, there's a cracks in the basement. When I understand when the 95 was, I think, I learned from Sean, Mr. McCarthy or something, when 95 was constructed, there's some kind of blasting or some repair. That impacted the foundation, the basement, there's cracks. So I had to put in some kind of French drain, I don't know the term, but somebody did essentially cut the basement, drain the water. So is there blasting involved in the, for example, I don't know how far it is. I'm probably right here, that's my house. I think there's 6 down there. Is the blasting involved? I know there's a lot of rocks, probably, right?
Just to let you know, they have to do a pre-work inspection
Okay.
of
So
the
they-
homes in the area.
Yes.
And so that if something like that happens, they are responsible.
So, okay.
So in
right now, my
regards to
basement's not
bla-
leaking.
yeah, so-
If there's anything, I'm gonna go back.
I can
Yeah,
just tell you,
yeah,
we've done
just
test
okay.
pits in the
Okay.
area. There is
Right.
some bony soil. Whether or not the site contractor will require the blasted, I'm not
right,
sure,
right.
but
Okay.
like
You are
she
protected.
said, you will be
Okay, I
protected by a
just want to
tree
make note
blast
of
already.
that, yeah, okay. Third thing, I think, to Mr. McCarthy, I think the layout right now, I'm seeing from the town website already, right? Does that include the whole final, like, shape of the cut through? I don't know if this is existing or the new one, but, this is existing. So when this finally finished, yeah, is this the exact kind of layout, what this looks like, or
Yes.
there's going to be some
That
changes?
is the only means of access we have to that property,
Okay.
of that portion of Abbie
Joe,
Lane.
can you put
Yes.
up page C5?
Sure.
Sorry. I
Yep.
just think it's easier to see.
Oh, no, no problem, yeah. No,
Okay,
that's
there you
fine.
go. That's what the proposed layout is.
Right, again, I'm not the expert. So, again, question only, so the choice of the entry from, this is the Abbie, right?
Yes.
This is East Street, I think it's 206 or 200
Mm-hmm.
something. The choice, is that just the proposal, is the distance to the public way, or how's that chosen?
We
Entry from here
we only
versus
have
from there.
access to a street that we abut. We cannot extend a road through someone else's property without
Okay.
working with them as an applicant.
So the parcel from there does not include a sort of a way into this parcel?
That,
Okay.
Separate parcel.
subdivision above us does not provide a roadway access that touches our property, so therefore we could not take advantage of that and come in that way. So we come in the only way we have.
Okay.
the only
Well,
place
just
to
for
go.
my education.
No,
that's
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Good questions.
No, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
meet you.
yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? You guys are a very well-spoken neighborhood.
John DePietro, 25 Windsor Drive. My question is this: the Public Works Department, have they been involved with the water pressure situation, with the impact of the six houses that are going to be put in? We've had off and on some problems there. I've had some work done just to mitigate the problems. I know Sean has had problems also.
Not a high enough pressure? to
I'm
get
sorry,
that-
no,
not a-
water pressure in the home.
It's not strong.
It's not strong, it varies. I talked to the water department, and they informed me that we're at the end, and that builds up pressure and then lowers the pressure. Has that been looked at? I mean, you put
Where are
in
you,
six-
where are you, sir, in regard to this? I don't know, remember
I'm
what your
right,
street is.
Lot 6, I'm right behind, right there. That's me.
Oh, that one right there? Okay.
That's me.
Abbie Lane has a dead-end water line right now. I'm not sure where Windsor goes, left or right there. I don't know where that water main goes, but the subdivision above us has a water main coming in from their street that's going to come up through their property, and then we're going to provide access for them to come with a loop through to
So it's
come
gonna
down
help.
into the existing Abbie Lane.
It could help.
It could in fact very much.
It's going to help. I think that's what the whole loop thing is about, so we don't have that problem anymore.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you.
The Water Department, the Public Works Department has been working hard and trying to loop all the water lines to avoid the pressure changes that you're experiencing right now.
Anybody else?
Yes, please, come up.
DePietro, 25 Windsor Drive. I have a question about the roadways. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of big trucks, construction coming through, lumber, big heavy equipment and that. And when everybody's said and done, what are these roads going to look like for us left behind to drive on them and that? Are you prepared to, not just on Abbie, but on Windsor too, to take care of whatever problems might have developed?
Any damage that they do to the roads has to be repaired.
Before they leave the job?
before we can hold we can hold lot releases and not allow them to.
Okay, so the roads are going to be in at least where they are now or better condition when you leave?
They'll be at least what they are now. If they're damaged, they have to be repaired.
Yes, they do.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
We're gonna have to continue anyway, I think.
Carrie, Pearson, 2 Abbie Lane. I just have a question. Can you explain to me, you mentioned the Canoe River Way, and you mentioned the connection. Are you talking about connecting that with Abbie Lane? That would be my concern. I have 2 young kids, actually, as you're talking about 2 young kids. I have 2 young kids living right at 2 Abbie Lane. So I'm personally concerned with all the construction, and as well as having that many more homes in our neighborhood, just looking at like the cars driving, my kids trying to bike. So you are proposing?
So Abbie Lane exists from Windsor to this point,
Right,
to
right.
right here with the green markers. This is all proposed new construction
Right.
here, an extension of that, and then Canoe River Way is an extension off of this extension.
What was your question?
I was just questioning about the connection between the 2.
Essentially what's happening is you go from Windsor here, Abbie's a dead end.
Right.
Extending Abbie, this is the new dead end for Abbie.
Right.
And then
So you're
from
just
Windsor
extending
up
that
this.
cul-de-sac. I was actually just asking, I know where Windsor is. I was asking about the connection between Canoe River Way and Abbie Lane. I am just.
Nope,
That's not
they
Abbie
just-
Lane. What you just pointed
Oh, will
to.
be
That's
Abbie
not,
Lane.
it will be Abbie Lane, but that's the new cul-de-sac. The existing cul-de-sac is right at the bottom.
Just right here.
Right.
Go down?
No,
Nope,
down here.
go down.
Okay.
Yep,
That's the existing.
Okay. And that would be the new, and they're
all that is new roadway
The
proposed.
roadway as well.
connected. Okay.
Correct.
And that also has a cul-de-sac.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're looking at 2 different cul-de-sacs
Cul-de-sacs.
connected, as well as the U
Yes.
in Windsor Drive. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Make a motion to continue? Okay. Make a motion to continue the public hearing related to the definitive subdivision, Abbie Lane, construction of a proposed 6-lot subdivision, Joseph Lombardi, till
August 8th.
August 8th at,
We have Main Street. We should do Main Street. 7:30.
7:30 PM. And it will not be posted again, correct?
Right.
So
Well,
please,
the agenda will be posted, but
but you won't get, you won't get,
new notification.
yeah, you won't get anything in the mail.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you folks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice project, cut my teeth in, huh?
There you go.
Thank you.
John DePietro?
Make a motion.
We need to continue the public hearing for 73 Main Street.
Oh, okay. I make a motion, hold on 1 second, I gotta find the thing. I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for the special permit at 73 Main Street, construction of an 8-unit multifamily dwelling, Briarwood Construction Corp., until August 8th at
7:15.
7:15 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.